But good morning, we're the Call Guys. I'm David.
And I'm George.
We have the distinct honor this morning of being down in Charleston. We are at the headquarters and museum for the South Carolina Historical Society. This is our wonderful guest, Dr. Faye Jensen. She is the executive director, the person in charge of this organization. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
The Call Guys isn't your average real estate podcast.
Our mission is to give buyers and sellers the power of knowledge through their real estate transactions.
We do this by helping first-time homebuyers realize that there are more expenses that come with owning a home than just the loan.
We also understand there are many times move-up buyers and sellers have forgotten the process because it's been so long since their last real estate transaction.
We make the downsizing easy.
Once you get into the habit of working with us, the process becomes so smooth you won't mind to move.
We are also excited to share with you what all the Midlands has to offer.
Time has gone on?
I don't know that it's become harder. I think people don't maybe think about it as much as they used to. So maybe it is a little bit more challenging. The stories are wonderful. We recently, since I've been here, we've received a plat of the Charleston market. And it was a deed from Charles Coatsworth Pinckney in 1788 to the city of Charleston. And that was given by a descendant of the Pinckney family who just remembered we have other things of her family. And she said it was in my closet under an old wedding dress. Wow. And then we had another lady call us, and she lived in the upstate, and she said, my grandmother kept this letter from George Washington to Governor Moultrie in the secretary. And I think you all should have it. And we're like, please, yes, don't let anything happen to it. So people have just been very generous, and there are always fun stories behind artifacts. Yeah.
So what's your biggest challenge for preserving the history of South Carolina? Because I'm sure you get bombarded with a lot of stuff, and stuff comes in all kinds of condition. But so what's your biggest challenge in doing all of that?
Probably funding.
Yeah.
It is becoming more and more expensive to conserve items, but even just the storage of them. One reason we moved to the College of Charleston was the storage conditions there were so much better for manuscripts. And that's what most of our collection is, manuscripts. And you don't want the temperature to fluctuate, you don't want the humidity to fluctuate, and this building was not good for that. Okay. But that's expensive. So right now it is funding and awareness, making people aware of how important it is. Like one thing we're trying to do now is get letters and diaries from the world wars and from the Vietnam War, because those things are going to be important to the next generation.
Sure. And you talk about funding. I don't think we've mentioned the fact that you guys are a private organization. You do not receive any state funds towards the work you do. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have applied to the legislature and been successful in the last few years in getting some appropriation money. The state is beginning to realize how important this work is.
Yes, ma'am. Is there a story that sticks out to you from your time here? It could be anything from the museum, but is there just one story that when you think of the Historical Society of South Carolina, it means something to you?
Oh my, there are all kinds. I guess the one that sticks in my mind happened most recently, and that is someone who was a collector. He just frequently would purchase things off the internet, contacted us and said he had collected some items from South Carolina and he'd like to donate them to us. So he did that, and it turned out they were love letters from a Vietnam soldier. Oh, wow. And it was there were over 100 of them. And we thought, wow, how did he get all these love letters? And so we did a little research, and the person they were written to, we found out was still alive. And so we contacted her, and apparently she never received them. And she thought this soldier had jilted her. He thought she had jilted him because she never wrote him back. And she thinks her mother kept all the letters. And I thought instead of burning them, the mother must have kept them, and somehow they ended up in the possession of a collector. So be careful. So that's you just never know what's going to happen with these things.
So, wow. So that's a good segue into the next question, because you said, this gentleman bought this stuff, I guess, over the internet and then found y'all. But how are you evolving in this digital age to share your collections and what you have here digitally versus, people coming in person?
Yeah, and that's honestly changed. That's been the big change since I came here, and people were knocking on the door and ringing the bell just to be able to get a peek at something. We are really proud of what we've done with digitization.
Yes, ma'am.
And that also has been in partnership with the Low Country Digital Library.
Okay.
And there are digital libraries. There's the Low Country, there's the Midlands, and there's the Upstate. And these are, just totally free, accessible, and I love it because we are putting things on there all the time, mostly grant funded, that we can do this, and the documents are there, and you can see the original document. But then what I love is we put a transcription of it. Because I don't know if you've tried, we were just looking at the map, to read 18th and 19th century handwriting can be quite challenging. So I love that the transcription's there with those things. But we've put thousands of things up on Low Country Digital Library. Also, we've had fun in putting our archivist in charge of our Facebook page.
Okay.
Because they're the people who know the cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so we have got thousands of followers on Facebook because they're always posting something fun.